shop, under the Jerry's Bait Shop, in the corner of the bait shop, and the Jerry's Bait Shop, half a block down the street from...
Where was I?
Jerry's Bait Shop. You know the place. Well, anyway, back then life was tearing me apart, and everything was just okay. Except, of course, for the undeniable fact that every single morning, the girl of my dreams would make me a big old bowl of strained peaches for breakfast. Ah! Waka waka doo-doo, yeah! It was driving me crazy! I said, the girl of my dreams. I said, hey, girl, what's up with all the strained peaches? And my dear sweet, the girl of my dreams, she just looked at me like a cow looks at an oncoming train. And she leaned right down next to me. And she said, we're out of glazed donuts. And then she tied me to the wall and stuck a funnel in my mouth and force-fed me nothing but strained peaches. Until I was 26 and a half years old. That's when I swore that someday I would get out of that bait shop and travel to a magical, faraway place where the sun is always shining and the air smells like 12 starving, crazed weasels. And the towels are oh so fluffy, where the Shriners and the lepers play their ukuleles all day long, and anyone on the street will gladly shave your butt. For a first-class one-way ticket to Albuquerque. Waka waka doo-doo, yeah! Well, let me tell you, people, it wasn't long at all before my dream came true. Because the very next day, a local bait shop had this contest to see who could correctly guess the number of molecules in Leonard Nimoy's bait shop. I was off by 26 and a half, but I still won the grand prize. That's right, Albuquerque. Albuquerque. Oh, yeah. You know, I'd never been on a real airplane before, and I gotta tell you, it was just peachy. Except that the plane exploded in a giant fireball and everybody died. Except for me. You know why? Cause I have my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. Have my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. Have my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. So I crawled from the twisted, burning wreckage. I crawled on my hands and knees for 26 and a half days. Dragging along my big leather suitcase and my Garmin bag and my tenor saxophone and my 12-pound bowling ball and my lucky autographed glow-in-the-dark snorkel. But finally I arrived at the world-famous Albuquerque bait shop where the towels are oh so fluffy and you can eat your strained peaches right out of the ashtrays if you wanna. It's okay, they're clean. Well, I checked into my room and I turned down the AC and I turned on the Spectrovision and I'm just about to eat that little strained peach on my pillow that I love so very, very much when suddenly there's a knock on the door. Well, now who could that be? I say, who is it? No answer. Who is it? There's no answer. Who is it? No answer. Who is it? There's no answer. Who is it? No answer. Who is it? There's no... Who is it? They're not saying anything. So finally I go over and I open the door, and just as I suspected, it's some big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only one nostril. Oh man, I hate it when I'm right. So anyway, he burst into my room and that's when I knew it was true love. We were inseparable after that. Oh, we bathed together, so we got married and we bought us a house and had 26 and a half beautiful children. Jerry's Bait Shop, a little bitty boy, Peachy! Warm root beer, nickel, first class one-way ticket to Albuquerque. But Zelda, strained peaches, two large Albanian women with excruciatingly severe body odor, a little kid in back of me, 3 of the airplane engines, and a half a big old bowl of sauerkraut, a one-nostril man operator. Sweetie pumpkin, donut, 12 starving, crazed weasels, little ditties, constipated wiener dog, the sizzler, chainsaw, Nathaniel and Superfly. Oh, we were so very, very, very happy. Oh, yeah. But then one fateful night, he grabbed my lucky snorkel and I'm like, hey, you can't have that. That snorkel's been just like a snorkel to me. And he's like, tough. And I'm like, give it. And he's like, make me. And I'm like, no. And somehow in the middle of it all, the phone got knocked off the hook. And 20 seconds later, I heard a familiar voice. And you know what it said? I'll tell you what it said. It said, if you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your I decided to buy some donuts. So I got in my car and I drove over to the donut shop and I walked on up to the guy behind the counter and he says, "Yeah, what do you want?" I said, "You got any glazed donuts?" He said, "Wait a minute, I'll go check." "Yeah, I got glazed donuts." I said, "Okay, I'll take that." So he hands me the glazed donuts. Nuts! Oh, get him off me! Get him off me! Oh, get him off! Get him off! Oh, get him off me! Waka waka doo-doo, yeah! Well, let me tell you. And as luck would have it, that's exactly when I ran into my mother and I said, "Hey, Mom, what's up with all the strained peaches?" Where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought. Okay, anyway, I know it's kind of a roundabout way of saying it, but I guess the whole point I'm trying to make here is I hate strained peaches. But I never saw her again, but that's just the way things go. In Albuquerque. Albuquerque. Anyway, things really started looking up for me because about a week later, I finally achieved my lifelong dream. That's right, I got me a part-time job at Jerry's Bait Shop. I even made Employee of the Month after I put out that grease fire with my box of 12 starving crazed weasels that I love so very, very much. Oh yeah, everybody was pretty jealous of me after that. I was getting a lot of attitude. Okay, like one time, I was out in the parking lot trying to eat my strained peaches. Right out of the ashtray when I see this guy Marty trying to carry a big old sofa up the stairs all by himself. So I say to him, I say, "Hey, you want me to cut off your arms and legs with a chainsaw?" And Marty, he just rolls his eyes and goes, "Yeah." So I did. And he died. Say, that reminds me of another amusing anecdote. This guy comes up to me on the street and he tells me he hasn't had a bite in 3 days. Well, I knew what he meant, but just to be funny, I cut off his arms and legs with a chainsaw. Ah! 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 And I'm completely missing the irony of the whole situation. Man, some people just can't take a joke, you know? Anyway, way back when I was just a little bitty boy, living in a Jerry's Bait Shop, under the Jerry's Bait Shop, in the corner of the bait shop, and the Jerry's Bait Shop, half a block down the street from... where was I? I died! But that's just the way things go in a little place called Albuquerque. 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 I said A-L-B-U. Where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought. Okay, anyway, way back when I was just a